Hi, welcome back to NarcShield. My name is Jennifer, and tonight I'm going to talk to you a little bit about if you don't have awareness about what narcissistic abuse is, how you can waltz right into a trap without even realizing that's what's happening to you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope you will. Please like, share, and subscribe. World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day is June the 1st. So this is really important, and I try to describe things in ways that I've either seen or somebody's talked to me about or I've personally been through before. And the reason that's the way that I bring awareness is because, I don't know, like, honestly, I didn't see stuff coming, and I would waltz right into these scenarios, not, just blindly trusting. And so there's, many different ways I could describe that to you. And you may not even realize that you're being abused emotionally, mentally. It can be physically as well at some point. But it could be things like this. I just watched I think it was a documentary or something. Anyway, it was on YouTube. And it was about this girl who just needed a job. She was overseas. She needed a job. I wish I knew what it was. I'll try to look it back up, and then maybe I can put it in the link below. But anyway, it was about this girl, and she had gone overseas, and she needed a job. So she, I think she was having a hard time finding one at first, and she needed it because I think she had gotten a visa to stay over in this country for a year longer. And so she needed that visa and a job to be able to do that. So anyway, she was kind of getting desperate. So she went ahead and put something online herself to see if she could get any feedback. And she did. This guy, contacted her, and he was like, hey, I need somebody to come and work out here on my farm. And this would be a great opportunity. I had another girl who was working out here, but now she's moved on somewhere else. But I usually have people that come out. I think she was a backpacker or something like that. They come out, and they've worked for me before. It's about 2.5 hours away from where you're from or where you're at right now. But this would be great, if you could do this. And so she had some questions, so she asked him different questions. And then she decided that she was going to take this, and he was going to pick her up. I think she was either taking a bus or, plane. I don't know. But he went and picked her up. And then he was so nice, and they talked, this long drive there. And he just was telling her all about the farm and what she was going to be doing and how other people have done it. And, just being a really nice guy. And she felt completely comfortable. She had told her family. She was all excited. Her friends were excited that she had finally found this job and it was going to work out for her. And so she's heading there. But unbeknownst to her, this guy he had told her that it was like 2.5 hours away. But he wasn't really that far away, I don't believe. And he took different roundabout ways. She didn't know because she's not from there. And he made it like it was a 2.5 hour drive to get there. And he kind of changed routes and took it the long way to get to where he was going to confuse her. And all the while being really nice to her and telling her all these wonderful things and making her, this is the grooming stage where he's making her feel comfortable, where she can trust him. And, but all the while he is taking her to a place where she is going to be trapped, and she doesn't realize it. So she's happy, and she feels she feels blessed that this opportunity has come along, and that it's a really nice person, and they're willing to help her. And so they get to the farm, and he takes her all around the farm, and he's talking about it, and he makes it seem like they're really away from the outside world. Like she's quite a ways away from people. So, like phone service isn't going to really work out there. Nobody's really out there to, go hang out at. So he kind of lets her know that. But really, his own home was, I forget how far away it was, but it wasn't far. It was just like right through the trees or something. So she didn't know that because he didn't say that, but he actually lived right, basically right there. And, or at least it was really close. And so then he takes her into, I guess, one of the barns or whatever. And he says, I really don't want to have people working out here with me, that have had drug problems. So I need you to just show me. He wanted to see like places on her body, like veins. This is what he said, in order to, because he can't have anybody out there, okay, that's a major red flag for her. She was saying that she didn't really think that much of it, because he was still being really nice and everything. But that's such a major red flag. Like, first of all, wouldn't you think that would have come up from the very get-go when they were talking? And also, like, when he first met her, that would have been something that he did. Not, now that he's got her isolated out on a farm and in a barn. But anyway, so she was showing him, she's showing him her arms and her, her legs and everything. And then he tells her that she needs to lay down, I think on her stomach. Yeah, on her stomach, so that he can see the bottoms of her feet. And that's when he proceeds. So he's looking at her feet, whatever, and he looks at her feet for a really long time. And then he proceeds to assault her and chain her. And now she realizes that I think she realized then that she was in a lot of trouble. And so I won't go on with the rest of that, but it turns out okay, just so you guys know that. It does turn out okay, but it doesn't always. And here's the thing. It turned out okay with her as far as her life goes, but she will have trauma because of this. It's a lifetime. And the trust, he stole her innocence in so many ways. Not only did he steal hers, her friends, her family, the trauma is a trickle-down effect. And when trauma happens to you, the people that care about you, now they see life differently, and they're seeing life through a different lens. You're seeing life through a different lens. So it's not like it's okay, but she doesn't have to be a victim. She's a survivor, and this girl is a really strong girl, and I was super impressed with her and her story. And I'm glad that she shared it, because she's bringing awareness to all of us to let us know that, because she was the type that was always looking to be safe. That's why she asked so many questions to this guy, But it lets us know that even when we think we're being safe, even when we think we're being aware, there are people out there that can trick you. And you can end up in situations that you never in your lifetime thought would ever happen to you or your family. It can happen in so many ways. I hear things all the time. I've been through things. But I use examples from behind my chair because I have so many different stories there. Infidelity. This is one I've talked about on my channel. I think I talked about it more on my podcast channel, but I know I've talked about it here before too. But it's things like, oh yeah, who reached out to me on, it could be Facebook. Okay, let's just say Facebook. On Facebook, it's this guy that I knew back in high school, or it could be this girl that I knew back in high school. And I've heard this one a lot. So, or even this could happen on dating sites too, but it not necessarily be somebody that maybe I'll use an example there too. But and they're still married, but they're not in a happy marriage. And so we've been talking for a while, and they're saying they want to hang out and maybe meet and have lunch sometime. I'm like, yeah, well, he's not divorced, he's not separated. Like, does his wife know? Does the husband know that the wife is going to do that? Because if not, then there's something, if you're hiding something from one of your partners, there's something wrong there. That's a red flag. Oh, well, they're, no, because it's getting ugly. And the next thing you know, you're meeting up with this person, and now all of a sudden you're in this full-blown affair, and they had no intentions of ever leaving their wife. Next thing you know, you're the dumped one, and the wife or the husband's calling you, wanting to know what's going on with your crazy tale, and why have you contacted their husband and created this whole drama for their family, because they're going to believe the partner that they've been with. And the partner's going to show whatever it is that look, he or she's calling me all the time. Look at all these messages, and if you and I weren't, and going to gaslight the partner, if you and I wouldn't have been having all these problems, this would have never happened. I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? But she won't leave me alone. Look, she keeps calling me, or he keeps calling me. Next thing you know, you're getting called by, this other person. And, there's this triangulation that's happened. Now, the narcissistic person, the person that has the highly narcissistic traits, is kind of liking this. They're a little bit nervous, a little bit on edge, because they don't want to get busted. So they're saying whatever they got to say over here. They're saying what they got to say over here. They may even be saying to you, just go with it. I just had to tell her this, I'm sorry. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine with this. I'm coming back. Everything's going to be good. Just, I had to do this for what? They're going to try to get it where it works out good for them. And the next thing you know, you're the one who's hurt, and you realize that you were triangulated into something and they used you. And here you had felt so good and were so hopeful about a relationship. Same scenario. So then you get out. Okay, so let's say it's the same scenario. 3 months later, you hear from the guy or girl again. Now you knew what happened to you the first go round. But now, because you have hope and you really had kind of a tie and you've been feeling so bad, you want to feel good again. Here's this person telling you, look, I'm so sorry that happened. They give you some other scenario. It could have been about the kids or the family members that were coming in, and the pressure that they felt, and they had to do it, this way. And so they had to go back for a little bit, but they've moved out now, let's just say. But they really haven't. But they've moved out, or they're staying in another bedroom, whatever. And they're trying to see if they can reel you back in, whether you're going to hold your boundaries and say, no, don't have any contact with me again, or whether you're going to go, well, yeah, okay, I'll meet you for a drink and we can talk about it. But I don't know, I'm not comfortable with this, but I'll meet with you. That's all they need is the end. And then they realize that they still have you. And you've walked right back into a horrible scenario again. And you're back into this thing again. The next thing you know, you're being contacted again by the wife, or you're being sued for alienation of affection or something like that. And it's all because you were wanting to believe in this person, because you don't want to believe that they would be malicious and plan out things and do something so selfish and use people for their own gain. And not care about whether it hurts you in the end, or whether it hurts their partner in the end, or their family members, their children. They're not thinking about anybody else. They're just thinking about them in the moment and who they need in the moment. And so there again, now you're not in a situation where you might get killed. Well, you could be in a situation like that, but like the girl I mentioned before. But your heart is at stake here. Your mind is at stake here. It could be your finances. These people be coming in, and next thing you know, you're paying for everything for them, and they're using your money. And you don't even realize it just slips in. At first they were doing things for you. Next thing you know, you're doing everything for them, and you're handing them money left and foot. And you feel like you have to, because they did this nice thing for you before. So you feel, well, gosh, they did that for me. I'd be a horrible person if I didn't help them out. So I'm going to help them out. Even if it's something that you feel like you can't do, you still will do it because of feeling like a bad person if you don't. It can slide in there. So it's like the snake. I'm telling you, it happens and you don't even realize it's happening. And then when everything goes to crap, you beat yourself up for not seeing it. And sometimes other people can shame you as well and be like, well, look, you should have known better. Well, this can happen to anybody. Bad things can happen to anybody. So we don't want to shame people, because you never know something similar or maybe different, but still has the same kind of vibe to it, can happen to you, and you just don't see it coming. There are people that will be nice to you for long periods of time. They're getting something out of it, and they're grooming you to get something in the long term. So they could be really nice to you. You could be in a relationship with a narcissist for years and they were nice to you. Well, you know what? Was everything going great for them? Where they had, the house looked good, the facade looked good, everybody saw the outside world, everything's looking the way they needed it to, but you don't know what's going on and that perimeter around that narcissist. They have this web that they build, and people are their toys that are kind of stuck within this web, and you don't even realize, and they're on their game. Sometimes they fall off of it and you question them, and you'll go, wait a minute, I thought you told me the other day that da-da-da-da. Have you ever done that? I thought you said that so-and-so was there. You never told me that blah, 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 blah. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You just weren't paying attention. They gaslight you like that. And then you'll sit there and you'll go, I don't remember that. Like, I remember. Okay, maybe you're right. You just kind of give up because you're like, did I? Like, okay. And it's really, they got caught and they're like, yeah, I got to be a little more careful. And but that's how they kind of get out of it. And then they kind of like, she or he was dumb enough to believe that one. Thank God. That was easier than I thought it was going to be, kind of thing. Where really, if you would have called up somebody, and checked. But a lot of times you won't do that because you don't want to look stupid. Like, what if really they were telling the truth? You call up somebody else and you're like, did you, he said that, but no. And then you look like the paranoid partner and you don't want to, but you're the paranoid partner. So you walk into these situations and you're like, God, how did I get here? I'm so crazy. I look like the crazy nut job person. And well, that's okay. It happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us, that have been in these kind of relationships. And some of us, it takes longer to learn not to get into them than others. But those are the kind of situations that you can get in. I'm telling you, it could be even, how you tell your kids, you'll be like, who you hang out with is who you're going to, who you be like, pick and choose your friends wisely. But it could be like a friendship where they say, for me, for instance, I've talked about a situation where I was date raped when I was in high school, freshly going into high school. I was really young. And that person did that to me. So this person was somebody, he was pretty popular at school. I mean, he was definitely known for having a temper, because I remember, I'm not going to go through the whole story because I've already done that before, but where I was like, ooh, this guy's kind of like scary, kind of like the bad boys, nice looking and everything, but everybody still likes him. He's on the football teams, and I'm like, how's he on the football team? Like, didn't he flunk like twice or something? Like, I remember him being like older and everything. I could be all wrong and stuff, so you never know who's going to watch your videos, but but it's like, I just remember those first thoughts. But anyway, I liked the guy. I mean, he was a nice guy. He was in a few of my classes and everything. But one of my girlfriends had a really big crush on him, and I was the new girl at school and from a completely different area. I dressed different than everybody. I was so different, but my friends were trying. I remember them saying, you need us to help you. Like, and they tried to show me how to dress like they did there. And I appreciated they were helping me to fit in a little bit more because I kind of stood out. But the guy, I remember him saying that he wanted us all to get together. It was going to be me and, somebody else, and I guess one of his friends, and then my girlfriend, and I think some other people, really. And I knew my mom probably wasn't going to let me do it. And I remember begging, please let me ride in the car, because he was going to pick me up. They were going to pick me up. And so, and we were supposed to, back there, you'd go to the mall, and hang out and cruise the drag. And then they had this movie theater or whatever. And so I begged my mom. It wasn't an issue whether I was able to go to the mall and to the movie theater. It was an issue whether he could pick me up. And I was ready for that. I was kind of getting old, not older, but I was getting to that age where I was close to that. And I was wanting my mom to let me do this. And he, because I wanted to fit in. And she was like, no, 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 whatever it was. I begged and begged and begged and begged and begged. She finally said yes. And I trusted this guy. He shows up, he picks me up, and there's nobody. Where's the girl and where's the guy? And they aren't coming. And now it's just me and this guy. And I'm like, how did I not know this? Back then we didn't have cell phones and stuff like that and computers and all that. And now I'm just with the guy. And then he took me to, instead of us going to the movie theater and towards the mall, he said he needed to stop off at his house, and his mom was there and she was getting ready to go to work. And then he invited me to come. I thought I was going to sit in the car, while he ran in, but then he was like, why don't you come in, you meet my mom or whatever. And then I went in, and then the mom leaves and I'm stuck in this house. And then something really bad happened to me there. And it was because I trusted someone. I did have alarm. There were so I have talked about your inner alarm system before on this channel. And I had them. There were things that made me feel uncomfortable there, and I was really wanting to go home. But here I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be. I don't have a cell phone. I'd have to use theirs. I didn't know how to ask. I was in a situation that I did not know I didn't have the coping skills. I didn't know what to do to get out of that situation. And something really bad happened to me there that has stuck with me for the rest of my life, and it changed me. It was a very pivotal moment in my life, and it did change me. And so you can be so trusting. They can seem like they're the most trusting people, and they can be figuring out a way and being very manipulative to get what they want. They don't care about what you think, what you want, how you feel. It's all about what they want. And then you get in these situations that you walk into, and it's a trap. And then your life is changed. So it's important for us to give awareness, because we don't recognize it sometimes. These people can seem like the nicest people on the planet. It can be people you would never imagine. And not everybody is a bad person. And it's awful because you don't want people to be paranoid in life. But you just need to be aware. You need to look for the signs and know you, and when you feel uncomfortable, and have ways to protect yourself and to be on and to know what you can do to protect yourself. Because of things that have happened to me in my life, I'm a little bit paranoid. And I have children, and my kids will be the first to tell you that I am always, to this day, they are grown, and I tell them, I'm so sorry. I'm just, this is just how I am, and I know it's not your fault. Please forgive me, but I just worry. And so I'm always saying, I want to know that they're okay, and I'm always wanting to know that they're protecting themselves and trying to be aware. And I feel like I overdid it as they were growing up, and I still feel kind of guilty about that, because I didn't want them to be afraid of life. And my daughter and I were just talking about this. I didn't want them to be afraid of life. She doesn't want her child to be afraid of life, because there's so much bad out there, but there's a lot of good too. There is a lot of good. We just need to have coping skills, and we need to respect our alarm systems, what's going on inside of us, and know how to protect ourselves, and just when we see red flags, and just having awareness. And that's why I'm here. So those are just some examples that I'm just sharing with you. If you have some examples that you would like to share with me about things that you learned from experiences that you've been through, please feel free to put them in the comment section or get a hold of me and let me know. I would love to hear some of your stories as well, and I will continue to share on my channel. Anyway, I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help my channel at least share some awareness. There's plenty of other great ones on YouTube and in other places because I'm watching them, that's for sure. And I just hope to see you next week. So take care. Bye.